Welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer, where at present we are continuing our study of an article entitled Teresian Prayer, which appeared in the Carmel Clarion in March of 2011. And it was written by the Carmelite friars, and we are currently looking at Chapter 3, Teresa's Viewpoint on Prayer. So let us pick up, and Teresa tells us that the best prayer will always be that which most renews one's life. She says that I would not wish for any other prayer except that which makes me increase in virtue. So Teresa has spoken graphically of the dynamism of prayer, which is the use of comparisons, various ways of watering the garden in her life, of the various levels of communication in the history of the interpersonal relations between God and human beings in the interior castle. In both comparisons, one sees a progression in the definition of the two protagonists, God and the human person. God's activity increases and, consequently, and in parallel, the passivity of the human person increases. In her life, the saint points out that the work of the gardener, or the human person, becomes increasingly less, yet the harvest is greater. God progressively gains control of the scene until finally he commands the scene. In the interior castle, where Teresa is speaking of prayer as an inward movement, an inward journey, the levels at which this encounter takes place are more in evidence. God and the human person share intimately at ever more intimate and profound levels. This is the meaning of the different mansions that Teresa speaks about in the interior castle. Mystical prayer is the field par excellence of Teresian teaching. She tries to fill an existing gap in books on prayer, which is to state what is most important in this friendly encounter, but which is often passed over in silence, God's part in it. He is the principal agent. In this way, the person is led to an attitude of passive activity, one of receptive listening. For Teresa, prayer from the person's part is fundamentally a time of listening, a time of God's manifestation, epiphany, unveiling. From this, Teresa points out the fundamental comparison with which she weaves the exposition of the way of perfection, Christ the Master, the person the disciple. By this, Teresa indicates the attitude with which one must approach the rendezvous of prayer when she writes, "Draw near then to this good Master with strong determination to learn what he teaches you. God, Christ, teaches in prayer to anyone who wants to be taught by him in prayer. Amen." So, thank you so much for following along as we move through this article entitled Teresian Prayer. And Teresa, is a doctor of prayer in the Catholic Church, and she is esteemed to be the expert when it comes to the different movements of the soul towards its union with God. So may God bless you, and until we meet again, thank you. Okay, stop.